Hey guys, so I want to address the issue of Trump. What's the issue with Trump? Or what is the issue of Trump? Well, a lot of people seem to be upset that Donald Trump has supposedly thrown Israel under the bus. How did he throw Israel under the bus? He went at the Houthis, came at the Houthis unilaterally. He went into unilateral meetings with Saudi Arabia, and he's doing something with Qatar, and he basically said that that's it. Israel's not going to get to take over Gaza, and that Hamas, apparently there's going to be negotiations where Hamas supposedly can stay. All this kind of stuff. So all these like kind of either unilateral things or just things that are kind of like not really in the favor of Israel. Folks, I want to tell you two things. One thing is a little more practical. The other thing is more practical, leading into stuff that's a little more, shall we say, celestial. Trump is a pragmatist. He is a businessman. He is a deal maker. From what I can see, and also he doesn't want to go to war. He doesn't want to have a war. He would rather, given the choice, he would rather, if he could do whatever he can do to avoid physical confrontation, military, what's called kinetic warfare, and to stay in the realm of diplomatic and or business machinations, he will. What does that mean, guys? It means that he definitely understands, that Qatar and Hamas, they are Sunni entities. Let's look at Qatar for a second. Saudi Arabia, Sunni, right? So Sunnis, guys, you got to understand, Sunnis and Shiites are mortal enemies, right? Qatar, you ask the question, why is Qatar letting Iran run amok? Why is Qatar the go-between between Iran and whatever Iran wants to do, so to speak? Why is Qatar the financial and really the logistical backer of Iran, right? Folks, Qatar does things for Qatar, right? Iran is using Hamas, Iran is using Hezbollah, primarily using Hamas, and they're using Qatar to funnel everything into Gaza, into Hamas, right? They're also probably using Egypt, but that's a different story. So, my friends, now let's think about certain people in the Trump administration or people aligned with Trump. Witkoff, right? Kushner, the Kushner family, they sold a couple of things, or they co-own a couple of things with the Qatari government in the United States. Real estate, the Park Lane Hotel, I believe the Plaza Hotel. Sorry, there's a building called 660. I think it's either Park Avenue or Fifth Avenue. So there's a few things. I'm just naming a few, right? They have interests with Qatar. Does it mean that they're friends with Qatar? No. It means that they're trying to drive away Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and all these other entities away from Iran. They're trying to isolate Iran. Now you may say, well, Tzvi, there's other ways you can isolate Iran. My friends, the only other way you can isolate Iran is basically, amass an army and knock Iran over the head. That might still happen, but that's a different story. Right now, they're trying to just financially isolate Iran, right? They understand that Iran has built up this whole nuclear thing. They understand that Iran has built up this whole network of proxies. They want to isolate them. Okay. Now the second aspect of this whole thing, guys. Trump has dropped Israel and is doing things unilaterally. My friends, I don't know if you notice how we got to this point. How did we get to this point of October 7th and this whole crazy oatmeal? In Russian we call it kasha, cholent, right? This whole balagan, as we say in Israel. Folks, it's very simple. And nobody's talking about it. Nobody's saying it. Israel, at the behest of foreign powers, or foreign entities really, pulled Jews out of Gaza out of Gush Katif in 2005. Folks, that event, that seminal event of the leftists, and with some help from Ariel Sharon and a few right-wing people, unfortunately, in the Israeli government and other entities and deep state entities, removed Jews from their homes in Gush Katif. It happened on Tisha B'Av, one of the worst days on the Jewish calendar. Okay, folks, that is what led directly to October 7th. What does that mean, guys? That means that Israel, to their own detriment, the Israeli government, certain elements in the government, certain elements in the political class, and the military top brass have been listening to foreign entities working in conjunction with foreign entities to the detriment of Israel. Now here we have a president, American president, who finally comes along and says, Israel, do what you need to do. Do it quickly. I know you can do it. I know you have the capability to do it. Do it quickly, do it efficiently, and do it now. For whatever reason, guys, Israel, the Israeli top brass, and certain elements in the Israeli government refuse to do it. What does that mean, guys? It means that Hashem is trying to show us, via all these machinations, that Israel needs to rely on itself. Even Trump is saying that. Israel needs to rely on itself. Now you could say, again, Zvi, but what about Iron Dome? Folks, the only reason, it goes back to what I originally said, the only reason we need something like an Iron Dome is because we pulled Jews out of their homes, out of Gush Katif, out of Gaza. We allowed Hamas to take power. And so Hamas, the minute they took power, after they destroyed the greenhouses that we gave them, and the synagogues that we left, and all the stuff, and everything, destroyed everything, right? And they did what they did. They started lobbing rockets towards us. So what happens when you have rockets lobbed at you? You need Iron Dome. You need America to help you now. Folks, if you think this wasn't pre-planned, you are mistaken. Now you could say, well, see, what about Hezbollah? Folks, Hezbollah could have been taken care of years ago, before it even grew to what it grew to today. It could have been taken care of years ago. Again, we go back to deep state entities who want to perpetuate war. They need to keep selling weapons. They need to keep using weapons, weapons to be used. Same thing with this whole Iran deal over this past however many years, right? They need to keep the industry going, right? They can't allow Israel to develop their own jets. They have to sell the F-35, which, by the way, Israel modifies, right? The cockpits, but that's the most they allow them to do. My friends, you understand all of this, right? Again, October 7th happened because we pulled Jews out of Gaza in 2005. That was the direct result. It was the eventual cherry on top, right? We had a kidnapping of a soldier, Gilad Shalit. We had all rockets every day. Children live with rocket fire above their heads, and they have to go into I was there in Sderot, like a big concrete worm. It's like a worm, looks like a worm on the outside, but it's really just like a concrete thing that children go inside in the park because when the rocket is flying above them, right? It's sick. It's absolutely sick, my friends. No normal society would allow this. It's a different story. It's a different conversation, right? So, my friends, Hashem is trying to show us, by way of this president, that Israel needs to rely on Hashem, and Israel needs to do what it needs to do. The people in Israel who understand what needs to be done, they need to do it immediately, quickly, and efficiently, which has not been the case, right? It's inexcusable that we're still in this war. It's completely and utterly inexcusable. So, my friends, you could see, this is a different topic, but I'm just going to mention, you could see that the founding of the State of Israel, it had to ride in on this horse of socialists and lefties and people who hate Torah and people who align themselves with foreign entities and all the rest of it. You could see it now that there's resistance now, that the Torah people and the Bible people and the traditional people want to take over. There's resistance. And there's going to be resistance, my friends. But God willing, we will win. No, it's not going to be a theocracy, Iranian theocracy. We will win. By we, I mean the people who go according to the Torah, who comprise 90% of the country, in Israel. Not 50%, 90%, let's say, at least 80. And the people of Israel and certain entities in Israel who are on the good side will be shown, or all of Israel will be shown, that yeah, Israel needs to take care of itself and do what it needs to do. And Trump is going to be who he is, and he's not against us. He just needs to do things the way that he does them. He's not erratic, as some of my friends say. He's not listening to Tucker Carlson, right? He's not listening to all these other people who are like woke right or whatever it is. Yeah, there is an infiltration in the woke right in the Trump administration, unfortunately, but that's not who he's listening to. Okay, take it from Mike Huckabee, but that is not who Trump is listening to. Okay, so my friends, this is what we're looking at. This is what we're looking at. It's not. People say, "Oh, Tzvi, you're apologizing for him." This and that, folks. I want Israel to do what it needs to do. I want Israel to stop relying on foreign powers. Only rely on Hashem. Stop relying on foreign powers, my friends. Look at history. Look at history. Anytime Israel has been attacked and relied on itself and done what it needs to do, it has had fantastical and almost miraculous, not almost, specifically miraculous victories. Unfortunately, it began in 1973, with Kissinger, where certain entities in Israel, deep state-like entities, started just going not according to what Israel wants, but according to what other entities want. And they saw that the traditional people in Israel are taking over demographically, so they said, well, if that's the case, we can't have that, right? They're seeing that now. They're seeing that if they can't have that, the Israel that they want, which has nothing to do with anything related to God or the Torah, that they're just going to dismantle the state. My friends, again, I spoke about this before. It's not going to happen, obviously. You could see it now. There's an internal battle, Not that I'm a fan of Bibi, but, they're forcing a prime minister to go to court during an existential war. Again, my friends, whoever heard of such a thing, right? Just like with Sderot. Whoever heard of such a thing? It's not normal, guys. It's inexcusable. To have this, continue having this war after, a year and a half is inexcusable, right? It could have been done, could have been finished after 2 weeks. Even people on the left agree with what I'm saying. So, my friends, Trump is going to do what he's going to do. He's going to make the deals that he's going to make. Yes, he's going to force certain people in Israel's government to do what needs to be done for Israel's sake. He's not going against Israel. He's just isolating Iran and doing what needs to be done on the international stage. And that's basically it, guys. So, if you want to debate me, if you want to have a conversation, I'm all about it in the comments section. If you want to attack me, listen, you can feel free to attack me, but we're going to see how all of this develops in the coming months. It's going to be months. It's not going to be years. It's going to be very quick. And we'll see who's right. And we'll see how this all goes, how this all plays out. All right, guys. Mizat Hashem, and speak to you guys next week about Lag BaOmer. That should be interesting. All right. Shabbat Shalom.